Alright, so we got Paranoia, Good Eye Sniper, the Samurai, Blip. The only one I know anything at all about of these players is the Samurai. I did a bit of coaching with him last week, and he
Okay.
was on our team for the last team tournament.
Okay, I think I met Good Eye Sniper in 1 or 2 games. Samurai. I don't think I played with him before. Nor Paranoia, and I think I did play with him before. Yeah, I saw him streaming before.
Okay,
Yeah.
was Samurai was on our team. I think yeah, you were on
Oh
our team as
yeah, yeah, yeah.
well.
Samurai was in that team.
Samurai was on our team
Yeah.
for
For
the
the
April
April
Fool
Fool
stuff.
Cup, right?
Yeah. All right, so I think we're gonna start.
Okay.
One, two, three,
Let's go.
4. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, so Group B is starting as well.
I hope Group A will figure out what to do.
Yeah, I don't know what the delay is.
Yeah.
But
Well,
fingers
Bruce is not
crossed that
on,
they
so
get it sorted out.
maybe something happens. I don't know.
All right, a very warm welcome to Group C, the first game of the 4th Newcomers tournament. This game is going to be contested between Paranoia, RIP Blip, I'm going to call him Blip for now, Good Eye Sniper, and the Samurai. And joining me for this series of games, at least for the time being, is Hexapus. What do you make of this map, Hexapus?
This map is quite generous. There are 2 good scientific spots. Other than that, it's kind of lean picking.
Yeah, not a whole lot of scavenger goodness.
Maybe you
There's
can
a
get a
little patch
power
of carbon in the
robot. I don't
northwest.
know.
It's not hugely good though. I think the scientist is probably the best
Yeah,
thing.
the scientist to the northwest, the better one, and then the OK one to the southwest. I mean to the east.
Oh, interesting. So Samurai decides that he's going to go for that scavenger immediately. No nukes on the map at all, of course. Paranoia dropping scientist, and that's pretty much where we would have expected him to drop it. Got the steel mill, got the adjacency, and got the aluminum mine as well. The third found comes in from Good Eye Sniper in the northeast, and this is a power robot, which is really interesting. It's not a power colony, but power is starting high, so he might be able to make enough money to get himself to HQ2 before nighttime.
Yeah. One thing I don't like about the power robot is glass start at half price. You really want to take advantage of that, and as well as the electronics, they have machine shop at the neutral colony, so it's going to make his life a bit harder.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, the electronics price at 212, and that's actually a short-term benefit for him getting to HQ2 because he can sell 10 of it down. But it's certainly a long-term problem for him. He's going to have to be spending much more money on upgrades than he otherwise would. In any case, he gets to HQ2 just behind the scavenger in the northwest and just behind the more conventional robot in the south. And Blip going with that aluminum mine, going with the extra steel mill, and everyone now safely to HQ2. Paranoia has his steel triangle and his 2 water pumps, which is going to be making quite a bit of money in the short term. And there's not actually very much money to be made overall.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good idea to go into the water pump first before going to food and reactor. You get the quick money, and then you also can crash the water price. I'm a bit worried about the samurai. I think he overcommit in the carbon a bit. Too much, there's a
It's a
two
lot of
high and
carbon,
one
isn't
low.
it?
That's a lot of carbon. You might end up with dead tiles, and you also have to pay a lot for shipping. So I'm a bit concerned.
Yeah, almost 8 a second, and that's more carbon than you're really going to be needing in the long term. It might be that he can rotate those tiles into something else eventually, but there's a couple of other things that have to happen for him to be able to do that. It's just going to be slightly awkward for him. But in the meantime, we have a dust storm on the way. Paranoia, though, is racing on ahead through these upgrades. He has a cash lead at the moment as a scientist. Tries to freeze out the steel and the power there of Good Eye Sniper, but a very well placed goon in the middle of those 4 tiles means that Good Eye Sniper is going to keep his power online for the time being. Paranoid does have the upgrade. I wonder if he's going to take it. Probably should very soon.
There's no reason
Has
not to take it.
everything he needs.
Yeah. There's let's see. It was Sniper probably won't be happy about the dust storm, and also Samurai is in a geothermal already, so both of them. Oh, a nice shortage. At least that will help out a bit.
The geotherm's reasonably nice, I think, for Samurai. It doesn't really cost him anything at all because he's got more carbon than he's ever going to need. So not really a problem in terms of the production cost of the geotherm. Also getting those 2 electrolysis reactors, which again is a good use for his carbon. There's 60 carbon each for a scavenger.
He's just scrapped them out. Why would he do that?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what he's planning to do instead.
He's going to
goes over to Blip for 28. Blip does have some wind turbines that he's getting up at the moment, and that's going to be very nice for him. He's in that A level of debt, 30,000 or so, so he's got a little bit to pay through before he starts making money off that, but still,
he'll make money soon enough with the dust storm and loadout. The nice thing about Samurai position is that he can mine iron to sell some iron out anytime he wants. He's not locked out of the iron market, so.
Yeah, that's true,
yeah.
and he's not. I mean, do other people have iron? Yeah, other people do have iron. So it's likely that somebody else is going to be doing that at some point, going to be selling down that iron and making it essentially worthless. But yeah, you mentioned the Samurai knocked down those electrolysis reactors. He replaced them with farms during a dust storm. I'm really not sure about that. That might have been.
It's not like
been a mistake.
Yeah, I guess he saw that Paranoia has reactors up, so he didn't want to like crash the market and go into food for a more long-term benefit. I mean, the dust storm is gonna end soon, so perhaps that's his line of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be nice for him now. He's got 2 food a second coming in. It's worth $100. It's worth more than basically anything else in terms of production versus input, with the possible exception of electronics. But even so, it's going to be a nice amount of money for him. Paranoia, though, again, got that patent lab up. Does have quite a considerable lead, I would say, in this game. Is ahead on cash. Doesn't have very much debt. Is going to have that patent lab doing work very soon. Chems aren't enormously expensive either, so there's plenty that he can get with that patent lab.
He freeze on Samurai Farms. That's a very good freeze.
Yeah, really good freeze from Paranoia, and again, feels like he's controlling this game a little bit. Samurai does get to HQ4, but again, with those carbon claims, that may possibly have been a little bit of an overcommitment. And
well, he can use those carbon to make electronics. They are in a very good price. 292.
Yeah, I mean, that is one nice thing about the excess carbon production that he has, is that chems are reasonably valuable and electronics are reasonably valuable. So he will be able to turn them into something useful, as well as get through his upgrades.
I was just wondering if anyone will buy, will build a pleasure dome, and then an auction came out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good pleasure dome. I think it's a better pleasure dome than it looks, just in terms of the amount of money that it's going to make, because on-world price is not enormously high, and it's actually hard for anyone to build a pleasure dome just because electronics are so high.
24k is a reasonable price. 28 is pushing it.
Fine. 28 might even be fine.
But any more is not worth it, especially for the scientist, right? He can get virtual reality quite easily.
Yeah, he's got that patent lab up. He's got slant drilling coming online within the next 10 seconds or so. So that was his first patent, and yeah, the patent lab getting blown up, doesn't goon it, and Samurai decides that he's gonna knock that one down and make him pay a bunch more electronics and steel to put it back up again.
Let's delete the, like instead of a power surge, a dynamite will last longer than a power surge against a scientist anyway. So that's a good call.
Yeah, and Paranoia not rebuilding his patent lab, which seems like a fairly major error to me.
Does he
Really
have the
needs to
cash
get
for
that
it?
rebuilt. That's a lot of
Oh.
cash that's tied up in slant drilling at the moment. He's got 80 chems in there. And yeah, he does goon it, but again, he's just not rebuilt it. I wonder if he's realized that he's not rebuilding it. There it goes.
I wonder why he's getting the carbon though. I mean, carbon is dirt cheap, and then he can always get the carbon scrubbing if he needs. So I'm a bit skeptical on his carbon move on
Yeah, I mean
Paranoia.
it's the only, is it the only medium carbon nearby? It probably is. So I mean
The
it's
robot got the
okay insurance, I
sniper got the
guess.
high,
But as you
but
mentioned,
yeah,
carbon
especially with
very cheap.
Samurai open committing on carbon, there's really no reason. I might not. I probably won't even bother with carbon scrubbing.
Mm, yeah, there's not really any reason to put down a carbon claim, certainly. And given that you're a scientist, those claims are really valuable. You can't really be using a single claim like that on a medium carbon tile. There's another attempt at a dynamite, but this one is gooned. So good work from Paranoia getting the goon down.
Maybe there
Cost
will
him
be
a little
some
bit of money,
revenge
but he
coming up.
did get the dynamite back.
The dynamite will. It's unfortunate that Paranoia is keeping their dynamite instead of throwing back at Samurai, because Samurai doesn't have his goon, so it'll be a pretty nice
Yeah,
revenge.
Samurai going for teleportation, which I think is going to be quite good for him, but might need to get that gooned.
Yeah,
But he is
but
going to
seems like
be
he's
able to
gonna
get
be
it by the
good.
looks of it.
Yeah,
2 seconds.
I mean the scientist won't lose out too much without the teleportation. I mean he got slant drilling already, so
Yeah, it's not a
it's not huge
really
deal.
important teleportation, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, I mean I think it's good for Samurai in the sense that he's got all of that water. He's going to be, even though he's not shipping very far,
Mhm.
the amount of resources that he's producing from these tiles, he's getting a whole bunch of water, like 8.75 water a second from these 3 tiles. And this auction, by the way, is really interesting. Thinking Machines going to go over to RIP Blip for 32,000, which seems reasonable.
Reasonable, especially with steel being that cheap. Oh, the Offworld price is not that great though.
Yeah, it's not that great at the moment. In fact, it's very bad at the moment.
Yeah,
The highest
it's
launch is 310, and that is food and fuel, so not very many profits to be made
and it's
off
so full
world.
already, so that seems a bit low for an Offworld price. For
Yeah,
Offworld
it's
prices, yeah.
extremely low at this point in the game. It's really, really low. Um, Having said that, I mean, there's not a whole lot of money to be made in general. I think. I mean, there's chems now which have gone up quite a long way. There's electronics which are quite good, and I guess there's reactors as
Reactors, right?
well,
Yeah.
which would make a bunch of money. So
Aluminum is the
Samurai,
install.
this is a slightly risky upgrade from Samurai. He didn't have much cash, and Good Eye Sniper was sitting on quite a bit, and so now is RIP Blip. But everyone deciding that they're better off getting to HQ5 instead of getting aggressive against Samurai, who was the first to get to HQ5.
Oh, I guess this is a thing that newcomers are less likely to notice.
Yep, I think that's fair. You don't necessarily get to see those windows of opportunity as a new player. It's not necessarily something that's quite as intuitive as it is for some of the veteran players.
Yeah.
But even so, it's slightly risky to do that. And this actually is quite an even game at the moment. Good Eye Sniper sitting on the most cash, but he's not hit HQ5 yet. Does have that electronics production. RIP Blip deciding that an optimization center is what he needs to do, and I quite like that, although I think there needs to be some chem production from somebody if you want to be using those advanced buildings at this point.
One thing about Brim, I don't like at all is his two silicon claim very far away. Like he got a high tile already. I mean that's more than you need. The second low is just overcommitment, and on top of it, it's being very far away. It's just gonna drain your money away.
Yeah,
But he's moving
unquestionably an
into
overcommitment. You're absolutely
chemical.
right. It's too much silicon, 4.5 a second, and yeah, glass isn't particularly high. The only thing really that's going to be used for is electronics, and you don't need that much you don't need that much silicon to produce electronics. Certainly when it's all the way across the map, as that one is.
A power surge just came down by the samurai onto
Yep.
Limp, freezing out his
Yep,
camp.
really good, really good freeze. Those chems are very, very profitable. Here's another pleasure dome, and again, nobody really able to build pleasure domes at the moment. Electronics
And then
very high.
it's not, it doesn't earn that much, right? It's 85 now it's 64 if we want to build another one. It's like $85 per second, even with the 30%
Yeah, I
boost,
mean
right?
it's not amazing.
It's
It's
really
what, 110,
marginal.
so 65 profit. It's marginal, but again, those on-world prices are just not very high in general. It's really only chems right now that's making any money, and that's kind of awkward to produce as well with the carbon and with the fuel, which is also quite high. So
But
difficult to. I mean, I think it's fine to have a pleasure dome like that. It just sort of ticks on for you. Power's not very high, so it's not losing you very much money in terms of debt.
if I were in
It's an
the
interesting
samurai
game.
shoes, when he
I think
upgraded to level 5, he had a chance to take one more aluminum to take advantage of the aluminum price. And just if he took the low beside his medium, right, he can always turn them into wind turbine when aluminum crash. That's a pretty good option for him, but I guess he didn't go for that route.
Yeah, decided not to do that. And yeah, as you said, on the cliff, could have turned those 2 tiles into wind turbines, but yeah, it's not quite happened for him. Paranoia does have a whole bunch of aluminum though. Wonder if he's going to be selling that down at some point in the near future. Paranoia though, overall in a pretty good position, I have to say.
Yeah, he got the patents, he's a scientist versus
Yeah,
robots and scavengers, you know. I think he played the game.
he got a lot of patents as well. He got the virtual reality, he got the perpetual motion, and the superconductor. So that pleasure dome is very efficient. He's got slant drilling as well, carbon scrubbing, although he's got more carbon than he needs at the moment, so that's not going to be particularly doing very much for him.
Offworld is still terrible.
Yeah, 350 the highest launch, really not very good.
Yeah. I can understand why they're not going into it. But the game might draw out longer because of the weak prices today.
Yeah, it's I mean, on-world prices are getting up there. Life support's looking better and better, but again, it's just not very inspiring.
A
There
hacker
really isn't
array would
anything,
do good
a
work
single
today.
thing to make that's really good right now. There's a few things in life support that aren't very good. I think the water situation that the samurai's in is actually helping him a lot here.
Yeah,
He's got a big stockpile of water. He's got 35,000 worth
and he's
of
right to
water.
keep the water price up instead of selling down to help everyone
Yeah,
else.
yep, I think that's pretty sensible. This is a very expensive claim, 40,000 for this
I don't
claim.
think it's worth it with prices that low.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, and I
As
also
the
don't think the
prices
two
are
optimization
getting up there.
centers. Pardon?
Dynamite on the pleasure dome. That's a good dynamite from Paranoia. It's going to earn him quite a bit of money with that single pleasure dome that's now making 250. Here's some aggression onto RIP Blip. Seems to be the weakest target. Interesting decision by Good Eye Sniper to join in.
But I think they are going for the wrong person. They should really go for the scientist.
Yeah, I mean the scientist has the lowest stock price, so he is the cheapest, and also he's a scientist with all of those patents and with some optimizations now as well.
I would really like to see a hacker array with like nothing going on, with no prices going nicely.
Yeah, I mean the
would do
hacker
very good
array.
work.
I mean it would be an interesting choice. I mean I think it's going to be difficult for a lot of players to find a market that they're in that is safe to hack at this point. And Paranoia, I think, to be honest, doing absolutely the right thing here.
Defending himself.
Going into his own stock. Blip deciding that he is going to be going into Paranoia. And I think, I mean, when you have 2 players buying into you, you really need to be buying into one of those 2 players to try and get your stock back. Instead, Blip going into Paranoia.
It will only make him a tastier target.
Yeah, exactly. It's only going to be even better now for Samurai or for Good Eye Sniper.
Oh, a hacker array is coming up.
One of those 2 gets to the full buy, is now going to benefit even more from that full buy.
Rip is building a hacker array. replaced his
Yeah, I wonder what this.
optimization.
I wonder what this hack array is going to be doing.
Well, there
Blip does
are. I guess for him, I don't know.
another dynamite on the pleasure dome.
That's the thing when you dynamite someone's pressure dome. Oh, it's the same pressure dome, but you should defend yourself before you dynamite someone else, because hey, you dynamite, I will dynamite yours. It's a sensible thing to do.
It's really hard to defend though. Goons are 70k right now.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
You just have to suck it up at this point.
So I wonder what we're going to see in the next phase of the game. The Samurai does have the most money, and I wonder if he's going to be saving up for this full buy on RIP Blip. It's definitely worth doing at this point. 2 stocks in Paranoia as well, and Paranoia, I would say, is probably the main threat here in terms of who's going to be looking to win the game.
But if the Samurai did buy Brim, right, then probably the other two will start teaming up on him. And things won't look so good if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, but it's a little bit difficult to do. Now, this is really interesting. Good Eye Sniper deciding at the colony that he is going to go into an off-world market. This seems quite
very
aggressive.
risky, yeah.
Yeah, very aggressive. Not particularly high payoff as well. Only the 430 for the food launch at 22,000 profit, which just isn't very much money. So it's an interesting move. It honestly didn't cost him all that much to build.
But I wouldn't praise it on the colony, because there's a dynamite and magnetic storm. It's just a terrible
Putting
combination.
it in the colony does seem like a big mistake. There's no adjacency. It's machine shops and labs next to it, so no adjacency bonus for this off-world market. And the payoff is going to be only in the very long term for that one, and it's not going to be very quick to pay for itself. He also needs to launch it. He's not launching anything at the moment, so needs to fix that as soon as he possibly can. Meanwhile, the Samurai is making a lot of money. Is only, what, 60,000 in fact, from the full buy on Blip. So not very far away at all. And that'll put him in a really strong position if he gets that buy, despite Paranoia being a scientist, despite him having all of those late game patents. Samurai does have the water, and the water is very, very valuable. He's got nearly 200,000 worth of water now. Paranoia deciding that very sensibly the thing to do is to go into Samurai before he gets the buy on Blip while his stock is cheap, and Samurai covering that off. So that actually delays Samurai by quite a lot in getting to this buy on Blip.
Speaking of water, Good Eye Sniper also makes stockpile water. You really should move into those life support to compete with the scientists, and there's just good money to be made there.
Yeah, there's a lot of money to be made. And also he's launching food, or he was launching food a second ago. He's now not launching anything. But that price of food is only going to go up with him launching it. Good Eye Sniper deciding that he needs to defend himself. And yeah, Paranoia again. The more I think, the later this game goes, the more likely it is, I think, that Paranoia is just going to out-earn everyone else, despite all of this water advantage. And yeah, as you mentioned, 2 people have big surpluses of water, Samurai and Good Eye Sniper. So it's not very clear-cut that water price isn't necessarily going to be going up again. So maybe that advantage is gone. Maybe Paranoia instead is going to be making more money than everyone else in this game. What is this iron price all about? I've only just noticed this. $240 iron.
Maybe someone's playing the prices? Let me check.
I don't think so.
No, it's the real price. Oh, I saw a network virus before.
Missed that happening.
A network virus was on Good Eye Sniper's steel mill, so probably that partially caused the problem.
So nobody making steel now, which is pretty sensible because iron is out of control. And yeah, you mentioned the Samurai's got all of this iron nearby, and he doesn't seem to have noticed that he could be making so much money just by getting that iron out of the ground that's right next to him.
Yeah, just get rid of one food, grab the medium. That's all you need.
So in the meantime, Good Eye Sniper going for that second off-world market, and the Samurai
that's kind of
putting an
aggressive.
off-world down as well. It is
but the prices
a
are
cheap
coming
off-world.
back. The offer prices, you can get 35k per launch. Not too bad, not too shabby.
It's pretty good, isn't it? And he's got all of the resources that he needs for this off-world market. A second off-world market would only be 40,000 for him, so not very much money at all. I'd actually like to see now these elemental quarries just be turned into something else that's making more money.
He should have turned them like long time ago. Once he's at HQ 5, he has more carbon than he ever needs, and turn them to something else. He got teleportation. There's no reason not to.
So who's in the best position here? Samurai's making a lot of money. Paranoia is making a lot of money as well, but he does have 4 of his stock bought by Blip, which is really awkward
Seems
for
like
him.
Paranoia will take this win. Like once Paranoia buy out Samurai, seems like he will do so before Samurai get the buy on Rip.
He's not actually very far away at all. He's got 530 in cash and resources. He needs, what, 600 to get the buy on Samurai, the full buy on Samurai. He's at 90% at the moment, so Paranoia with the late game Scientist. All of these optimizations, got advanced optimizations in all of the life support, in chems, in glass, in electronics. That doesn't matter a huge amount at the moment because really there's not that much money to be made, but certainly all of the patents, everything else, all of the money that he's making, and he's going to be having a subsidiary very soon with possibly 2 off-worlds. Samurai putting a second off-world down. There it is. So Paranoia buying all the way into Samurai, only 70,000 or so away from getting this buy, and with it, I think, the primary competition in this game.
Yep. But you know, since Blimp has like four of his stock, if Good Eye Sniper and Blimp work together, there's a good chance that, and Sniper is sitting on a lot of cash, so there's a chance that they could work together and take Paranoia down.
Yeah.
Iron price. No one is
that stock already
doing
in Paranoia.
anything with that iron price. That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the science situation.
Like,
there's a lot of money that Samurai could have made, and maybe that might have made the difference.
Everyone could have made that money. Everyone has access to iron.
So Paranoia is going to have the red button really, really soon, almost at 100%. And with that, he's going to get 1 of his own stock back. He's going to get a huge stock price increase, and he's going to get a subsidiary with 2 off-worlds. There it is. He takes that down. And Blip deciding that he needs to attack Paranoia. That makes an awful lot of sense. But it is really difficult for him to do anything.
Yeah, with all the aggressive black market items are gone. And you can't really pirate or use a magnetic storm on him since most of his claim are connected to his base.
Yeah, and just not a whole lot of money to be made. He's got no off-world market, and off-world really, while we weren't looking, look how good these off-worlds got. 45,000 for the food launch.
Yeah,
it does tend to tick up through the course of the game. We're actually very late into this game now. Sol 10, which is pretty late. So the question is Paranoia going to be making enough money with these dead on-world prices with no off-worlds of his own? He does have Samurai's off-worlds to work with, but Good Eye Sniper actually now in a reasonably strong position because he's got those 2 off-worlds working. He had 1 of them blown up a second ago as well, but again, the black market, as you mentioned, Hexapus, getting really expensive.
Well, at this point, right, if you were a sniper, will you actually buy out Blimp to get the 4 stocks in Paranoia, or just go for Paranoia?
It's a good question. I think if you get the buy on Blip, you might even save money by doing that. You certainly don't pay too much more if you get the buy on Blip first. And he's very nearly there. Only needs 600,000 or thereabouts total. And that's only a couple more launches. This steel situation, I don't know what's going on with this steel. I really don't know what's going on with this iron price and this steel price. Good Eye Sniper's making a bunch of steel now.
that's
just all
good,
unprofitable.
very
He doesn't have any
enough
iron other
iron.
than the
Yeah.
single.
So he should get off steel and then just sell the iron out.
Yeah,
And go into grass, I suppose.
really needs to do that.
Grass is
Really
pretty
need to see some optimizations
profitable.
as well on that iron. Blip as well, making a whole bunch of iron. Blip's actually making a lot of iron, making a lot of money from that at the moment.
Just sub AI knows what's good for them. It's start mining iron now. They start iron.
Yep.
Yep.
So Samurai is going to crash that price a little bit. But there is the buy. So Good Eye Sniper does get to the buy on Blip, and now it's Paranoia against Good Eye Sniper. And even though Paranoia is a scientist, even though he's got all of these pants, even though he's optimized, well, he's not actually optimized that much, but got the late game advantages you would think, but Good Eye Sniper, with those two Offworlds, might be making enough money to do something about Paranoia. Paranoia has the sub advantage. He has the full sub on Samurai, has 3 pips into Blip. So it's going to be interesting to see whether that pulls him through. I think it's going to be a close finish, and maybe the stock price difference, maybe just Paranoia having those extra stock and having the $70 stock price compared to the $56 stock price, maybe that's the thing that makes the difference.
Definitely. And I don't see how Paranoia could lose this one. In terms of Offworld, they both have 2. Well, Samurai have the 2
Yeah,
Offworlds.
it's a question. I mean,
and in terms of stock, right? Paranoia has more stocks into him. He got 3 into snipers subsidiary.
Yep.
So I don't see him losing this game unless
I think it might be Paranoia.
Yeah.
I think he might get this one. Even though he doesn't have any Offworlds of his own, he's got the 2 with the subsidiary, and Samurai now making 2,000 a second as a subsidiary. That is a lot of money. That's probably more money. In fact, I'm sure it's more money than those 2 Offworlds that Good Eye Sniper has. Even though the launches are now up at 50,000 or thereabouts, on-world price is still relatively dead. We seem to have sorted the steel situation out, at least, and the iron situation. So Samurai making a whole bunch of money from that iron. Paranoia only now 350,000 away.
To be honest, I think Paranoia played a better game than the rest of the players. Like, you can see Samurai overcoming onto carbon, and I'm surprised that the AI doesn't decide to change the carbon tiles. Sub AIs, mind-boggling. And then we see Blimp overcommitting onto Silicon, and then we have the sniper shipping water from very far away. Only Paranoia actually have everything close to his base and has a very good finding spot location. So he played it really well in this game. So I think it's a well-deserved victory for him.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned at the start the scientist being possibly the best thing on the map, and I think it's proven that way. Paranoia are able to get those 2 snipers, or 2, able to get the scientist down, able to get the patent lab down, and able to get all of the advantages that he needed, and he is very clearly now going to take this game number 1 of Group C. Good Eye Sniper not really anywhere close, needs another 900,000 total, now needs 770,000 total, only has 100,000. So Paranoia just getting the last 50,000 or so that he needs to take out this game number 1. And I think you're right, Hexapus. I think overall, just in terms of the balance of this found, not shipping hugely across the map. We had Blip shipping the silicon all the way across the map at great expense. We had Good Eye Sniper shipping all of this water across the map at great expense. And instead, Paranoia's just got everything close by. And because of that, he's able to take game number 1.
Yep, and that is a very important part in finding that you want to have your resource close by to you. Even as a robot, you don't use life support, but life support will go up, and you do need soft water, even though you don't use water.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you do. You need to at least have some sort of options when it comes to life support, because often there's just too much money to be made, and that was how it proved in this game. And I have to say, a pretty good standard for the first game. I think all 4 of our players doing a lot right, certainly able to make money.
Hmm.
There was no one really who really painted themselves into too much of a corner. There were just those mistakes with the shipping, just those mistakes,
Yeah, they are
perhaps
relatively
with some of the black market.
small mistake compared to other newer player mistake like single tiles or finding too much or going to very high depth. No, none of them happen. Like none of that happened. So they play pretty well. All of them
Yep,
is plus
yep,
or minus something.
I agree. And we can see. I'm just looking at the end game menus. The black market paranoia using 16 black market effects, which I think was a big contributor to his win this game. Again, more active in the black market than anyone else. Blip, maybe not using quite so much
Yeah,
black market, quite as
on
much
the
as he needed
ranked
to, perhaps.
games, right?
Only the
So
4.
you can pretty much predict who is gonna win by looking at the black market screen. The one who used the most black market item,
Yep,
probably the winner.
yep. That's usually the case. Paranoia with the optimizations as well, and with all the patents. So I mean, you'd kind of expect that as a scientist, but it really gave him a big advantage in this game.
Yeah.
So Paranoia it is who takes our game number 1 in this 4th Newcomers tournament.
I'm a bit sad. One
He's
last
just
note.
going to have
I'm a
the
bit sad that no one magnetic storm anything. I mean, with all this long shipping, it would just be fun to see all that many
Yeah,
ships blowing up, like
I mean,
regardless of
I
price.
think the issue with the issue with the magnetic storm was that everyone who was shipping remotely pretty much universally overcommitted into what they were shipping. So blowing up a little bit of, you know, blowing up a little bit of Blip silicon out of the sky, for example, probably wouldn't have made too much difference because Blip had a huge stockpile by the end of the game.
True, but you
Or
know, it's a nice firework.
yeah, yeah, it makes a nice effect on the screen. That's
Yes,
definitely true. So that's our game number 1.
that's it.
Let's head out. We have, I think, some activity in our other games. DT is in lobby for Group B, but I think Group A is ongoing at the moment. Zoltar's
Okay,
stream is up,
is year end back?
so we are. I don't know. That is a
Okay,
good question. I have not seen him.
guess I'll stay on for the next game as well if he's
So
not back in the next few minutes.
yeah, so no sign of Yarand at all. So I think if you're okay to stick around, Tex, we might do some more of these games.
Okay, no problem. I'm just gonna grab a drink while we're on a break.
Yep, no problem at all. I'm likely to do the same very shortly indeed. Zoltar's stream is up, so again, that game is ongoing at the moment. It looks like Relic is going to take game number 1
Not
there
surprising.
over in Group A. No surprise at all.
I saw Relay stream before, and he played a pretty solid game. So
Yeah,
he,
I think we saw, which stream was it earlier this week? It was it Philathanic's stream where Relic played and gave Blues a really good run for his money in one of those games.
that I have
seem to
missed. I
remember.
didn't see that one.
Okay, but certainly a good player, and I think he's one of the favorites, along with Classy. I think
Yep, those two are the
one of the favorites
stands out.
for this tournament. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, I will be right back then. I'm going to grab a drink. Tune over to Zoltar's stream if you want to watch some of the Group A action. It's almost over now, and we'll be ready to go with game number 2 very shortly indeed.
Okay. I'll put a break here so that I can grab the games on Twitch.